Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Getting the smile and confidence you've been dreaming about, all from the comfort of your home, isn't a total mystery with Bite Clear Aligners. Just don't be surprised if all your friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Bite Clear Aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Hey, Prime members. Have you heard? You can listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free? Good news. With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free-podcast. That's amazon.com/ad-free-podcast to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Girl, there is so much piping hot tea searing into the world, parentheses, the world we give a shit about, end parentheses. It is oozing in like molten lava, and it will not stop.
I pushed the record button and we immediately just started laughing because we know that this is about to be an absolute roller coaster.
Listen, comedian Kiki Andersen is our guest today. She's in the green room. Hopefully we get to her to try to fix James Corden, because the list of shit that Chris and I need to go over is extensive. Listen to this list. I don't even know if we'll get to all these motherfuckers. Listen to I'm just going to say the names.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman, Drew Barrymore, Jen Shaw and Elizabeth Holmes, the Nicole Kidman, Amy Schumer feud, Jan Wenner is a racist, Russell Brand is a rapist, and the Britney update this week is so utterly ridiculous on Brit Watch that we have to leave her for the conclusion. It is Christmas fucking Day at Fixing Famous People.
It sure is.
This is going to be an 11-hour episode. It will be the length of the Thornbirds, and you don't know what that is, but it was a great miniseries from the 1980s starring Richard Chamberlain as a priest. And Barbara Stanwyck as the wealthy landowner who loved the priest. Actual line from the miniseries, "I love you, priest." I swear to God. Anyway, it will be just shy of 11 hours because we have to go over all of these famous people. Christopher, pick a name from that list. Where do you want to begin?
Okay, should we go happy or sad?
I mean, sad equaling rape, right? None of them really seem sad to me. Oh my God, I don't even have the Coonies Coochers on this list for their update from last week. Their lives have gotten even worse.
It's too much. We're trying to cover too much. Okay, so
Chris, talk about Hugh Jackman. Let's just start with Hugh Jackman.
Okay, people will be coming for me for this. Hugh Jackman has been freed. His wife.
That is so unfair.
Beard
that woman
is gone.
By him.
He finally can be himself, if you know what to quote Wendy Williams. They've been putting on this charade for a little too long, if you know what I mean. And I think that you do.
Oh, you miss Wendy Williams so much.
I miss her so much. I miss her so much every day. All I'm going to say about Hugh Jackman and his wife breaking up, how you doing, Hugh Jackman? That's all. I will not say anything else, but other than what Dominic is about to reveal, the text messages that I sent.
Yes, Chris and I are in a group chat And I said in the group chat that Hugh Jackman, he's very talented. He's quite handsome. He's undeniably charming, but he's never been like superstar status to me personally. Like he's never been that guy. Chris responds with, I would have sex with him in front of my entire family. I fell down when I read it. I was on the subway. I literally felt people threw change and half sandwiches at me. I was on the subway floor because following up that text, our friend Tom says,
how dare you do this to him, but do it.
I would have sex with him in front of Chris's family too, as soon as Chris was done. The whores have weighed in. The gay whores have weighed in. We're disgusting. Thrilled about the Jackman split.
It opens a door, is all I'm going to say.
Oh, is that what they're calling it now? A door? Is that what they call it on TikTok? Their buttholes?
I don't know. But I mean, we could go on that for 15 more minutes, but we don't have time. We have to move on.
We don't. I think that everyone who does Broadway shows is bisexual at the bare minimum.
Stop.
So
that's rude, but
what do you mean? I do think that they are. I think they may not admit it, but I know for them. And it's fine. They don't have to reveal. So if Hugh Jackman starts dating a man, would that really move the needle for anybody?
No, not at all.
Everyone already thinks it.
Everyone would be everyone would be happy. I'm happy. Everyone would just be happy for him. That's all.
I'm sure she's lovely. And you know what? She's not a supermodel and has for decades, if we might be fair, taken an obscene amount of shit based on her appearance from the press. So she probably just needs a fucking break.
And and they were dating when she's like a Renee Angelil. Like he was like 20 and she was like 40 something and they got married.
Are you first right? If you're comparing Hugh Jackman to Celine Dion, he's already. I mean, what? How will it get gayer for him? I don't know. You're comparing him to Celine. Let's move on to our next.
Let's move on. It's a lost cause.
Drew, full name Drusilla. I made that up. Barrymore.
Drusilla. Oh God.
I'm happy for her because I think that finally the right decision was made. I think no matter the beating she's taken, I do tend to think that she had her heart in the right place, but it was telling her the wrong thing. That's just the problem. I think that she thought she would like solve a smaller problem without solving the bigger problem, but all she did was create a giant problem for herself. And it's like, she apologized. I felt like she was sincere. And now she's apologized a second time now that the show is paused. And when I tell you that before we recorded this, the Los Angeles Times has an article that says Drew Barrymore spent years building her brand. Without writers, it unraveled in a week. With a few ill-advised social media posts, America's adorable sweetheart punctured her carefully honed image as an endearing kook and excruciatingly sincere Hollywood survivor. I don't think that she's in trouble. I really don't. I don't think that anyone thinks Drew Barrymore is a robber baron or Elon Musk. I don't think anyone thinks that she's like that hard up for money that's why she was doing this. I think she was trying to move forward and just fucked up. Like that's it for me.
Well, and I think she it's very clear that she had her hands tied, which I understand. However, is it still the good decision to do? No. But then the thing that was worse is that she kept talking about it and it reeked of PR. And she's such that person, never forget when we all first saw the video of her running around in the rain screaming. And she was being like, if you can run around in the rain, don't miss the opportunity. And we were all like, she's batshit, but we love it.
Sure.
It reeked of someone told me to say this, and so I am going to say it. Listen to me. Drew.
Well, that's why I'm here, is to listen to you.
Drew, the Coonies Coochers, any celebrity that's going to give an apology, listen up. Turn your, mute everything else. Pull up a seat. Listen to what I am saying to you. When you do this apology that you video yourself in your house to make it seem like a humongous PR machine didn't tell you to do this, I need you to get off book. I can't have you glancing to the side to see the screen that you're reading off of. I need you to be off book for this. Does that make sense to you?
I'm going to answer for them. Yes, Chris, this makes sense. Thank you. You've saved more careers today.
It's so infuriating that these people say that they're actors and they can't memorize a speech that they're
here's
going
the
to
thing.
give.
With the Coonies Coochers from last week apologize, with all these rich people apologizing, the bottom line is they can live comfortably with what they have in the bank for the rest of their lives now, period. All right? I want someone to just say fuck it and deliver the apology from a bubble bath, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that is all I want. So we're going to give, as the podcast continues and we find more people who have apologies to issue, we will decide at the end of the year who should reissue their apology from a bubble bath. I'm going to conduct this investigation on my own.
That is very smart. Do you get it? Like, I need you to pretend like you are saying this from the heart, even though we know you're not. Your eyes darting back and forth and back and forth and back and forth does not sell me on it any more than it already. You know what I mean? Like, you're really just telling on yourself the whole time. It's so
because
awful.
I'm in this community. I am a performer. I will tell you firsthand, all actors are insane. We like playing roles and telling jokes because the one thing we don't want to do is be our fucking selves. We don't even know how. Chris, I walk around in life with this microphone and it's not attached to anything. I don't know what's
trailing on the ground.
But it is the truth. Actors are they don't know how to be themselves. They look uncomfortable. The Coonies Coocher apology is unbearable to watch. I would only do it one time because I started scratching myself when I watched it again.
Isn't it so funny that I feel that I have this experience, and I hope that you do too, that since we work in reality television, when you encounter a real actor that then is like going to be on a reality show, every time that it's happened to me, they've been like, I'm so nervous for this. And I'm like, why? You have to like do actual real acting where there's like hundreds of people like riding on your performance. Like, what are you talking about? This is so easy. And they always say to me, I've never had to like play myself. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it is terrifying. And you know, it's just, especially like when everyone starts a reality show playing the version of themselves. And it's always fun to interview someone over a season of a reality show, a new person, where in that first interview, they are this character of themselves that they've created because they thought to themselves, if I was ever on television, I would be boo, boo, boo. Then after a few weeks, they realize the cameras aren't going away. And it's that third interview where they're just like, let me tell you this, bitch.
Here's why this person sucks. Here's why this person's, love it.
Because you have to be it's very funny.
Anyway, we have to move on. I'm sorry.
Let's move on down. Let's go to a feud. Amy Schumer versus Nicole Kidman. So basically,
Nicole fill me in on this because you like know about this. I was not.
Go Google it while I'm chatting about it. It's there was a photo of Nicole Kidman who looks robotic because she is the perfect human.
Our queen.
And I'm using human in quotes, which is funny because the joke Amy Schumer told, she posted a picture of her from the US Open sitting cross-legged and looking very stiff. And the caption that Amy wrote was something like, "This how humans sit." I'm sorry. I fucking love Amy Schumer, and I think that joke was hilarious. But of course,
we make similar jokes like that every episode on this podcast.
Worse. And so, Nicole Kidman fans went after Amy Schumer. So she took it down. And then, you're going to love this if you don't know this. She then issued an apology and said in the apology, she was going to ask the cast of that 70s show to write character letters on her behalf.
Perfect.
And then I think she took that down. Apparently, when confronted with questions of the feud, either Nicole Kidman or her assistant said, the quote is something like that, she's giving this no attention.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, basically. Yeah, because Nicole Kidman is completely unbothered because she doesn't even know what Instagram is.
Right. And, 2 seconds. By the way, no one's seen Amy Schumer since then, but someone looking like Shelley Miscavige was at the door in the middle of the night, apparently, and grabbed her by the throat and shot like a bullet out of the building.
Yeah, right. They would be like loving this for her because they hate Nicole Kidman.
I know. Maybe they're the ones that paid Amy Schumer to tweet that.
Probably.
All right. Moving on. This is where it gets a little more. Jan Wenner. Bye, bitch. I mean, Bye.
I didn't know who this
bitch.
person was until Rebecca texted us, so I had to
Oh,
Google who
really?
it was.
Oh,
I did not
wow.
know who he was.
No, Jan Wenner. I mean, he's a legend, and rightly considered one given his place in publishing and music history. I mean, for sure. Did not see this one coming. Did not see this one coming.
So basically, he does this he's the co-founder of the Rolling Stone magazine and
on the board at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And they doing some big, huge article, ? What was it?
I think it's a movie called The Seven, and it's about 7 legends. And I get Jan is involved in this in some way. And it's like Mick Jagger and David Bowie, but it's the 7 people are all, I believe, 7 straight white men. And he's sort of regarding them as the 7 most important people in music history. Right. But when asked about why there were no women and why there were no people of color, to make a long story short, because I think anyone who listens to this conversation will get it, he complained about other subjects not being articulate enough to be included here. And so that's when the avalanche started. There's nowhere to even begin with discussing how he revealed himself here and how he fucked up. But if you are a racist, let me give you some advice. If you are white, never, ever, ever, ever use the word articulate to describe anyone of any color or non-color. Just don't do it. It never goes well for anybody. Even if the person that you are describing is actually articulate, just keep it to your fucking self. There's no
it's like racism 101. Like it's so bad because it's so insane. Obviously bad.
Why you would choose those words is a testament to who you would be. If you're describing a person of color and their level of articulatity, see what I did there?
Stop.
If that's one of the first 3 things that's important to you, it means that you are racist and you should be quiet until you are not.
It's 2023 and you are like, I didn't need to have any women or anyone that's not white speak about this because I just didn't think they were smart enough. Like it's that thing that women have been complaining about for truly and clitorally decades, where they're like, oh yeah, we weren't even consulted about this because a bunch of men thought that a bunch of other men were the most important people to speak about this thing about tampons.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's that it in a nutshell.
Whether or not you think it's ridiculous, you don't have a choice. This is the locomotive that is moving through history, and you cannot just assemble a group of white men in something entertainment related, and that's it. You just can't. You have to represent other genders and races. You must do that.
And even if you do that, then say the reason I didn't have anyone that didn't look like these people was because they were too stupid to understand what we were trying to do.
Because that's what you're saying when you say they weren't articulate. Racist.
No, it wasn't even just articulate. They were like, they wouldn't have like the frame of reference of knowledge. Like there was more.
That's
to
what he
the
said
statement.
About the women. Yeah, he said the women wouldn't be able to discuss music theory as well as the men would.
Oh God. Okay, moving. Sorry to say, but moving right along.
It makes you want to read every Rolling Stone in history and to find out where that influence trickled down into coverage. Fuck that guy. Up next, Jen Shah is friends with Elizabeth Holmes in prison.
It's what we've wanted. It's what we've prayed for. The number of people that were like, why do I love this? And I was like, I don't even understand why you think you need to explain this to me, why you like it. It's obvious why you like it. And I said I would pay $700 to see footage of them just having a conversation.
When Jen Shah gets out of jail, the very, very first question that the producers of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are going to ask is, can we bring cameras into the glass-walled room when you visit your friend Elizabeth Holmes?
We'll do anything. We will do anything.
Because here's the thing about Elizabeth Holmes. She is articulate.
Stop. Can we not get cameras up in there? Like they do prison shows, right?
I mean, you have to ask. I mean, I've shot in jails and prisons before. It's quite a clearance process, but you can do it. You just need a lot of lead time. I'm sure that they've already considered all of this. I mean, I
Like,
hope so.
I'm begging. Like, couldn't we, what can we do? Anything. I don't even care what show it is. Just a live Big Brother feed of them speaking.
All right. Well, if you're that desperate, why don't you
Sneak into the jail and record them without their consent.
Bake Elizabeth Holmes a cake and put a cell phone in it.
Yeah. I have to traffic in stuff for her into the prison so she can record herself.
Have you ever watched Wentworth on Netflix?
I have not, sadly.
It's an Australian women's prison drama, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it is my favorite television show of all time.
Because it's good or because it's insane?
Both. But
Okay,
I couldn't,
really?
I can't even start talking about it. All I can tell you is that I happened upon it a couple of years ago in the middle of the night on Netflix. This is a true story. I couldn't stop binging it. So I took off from work the next day and my husband came home and I was still awake. I watched like 18 straight episodes and he walked in and said, "You are fucking kidding me." I was like, I can't.
And you have like powdered donut sugar all
this.
over your face. Like
That
you're
wasn't
just like...
donut sugar. How do you think I was staying awake to binge it? It was a great day. Maybe one of the greatest in my life. Wentworth on Netflix. Get into it. All right, let's move on down the list. Oh, this is a bad one. Russell Brand. Jesus.
I mean,
Francesca Christ.
This is what I don't... Jesus, Francesca Christ. Yeah. This is what I don't like whenever people that are like, this is going to be very mean and I'm sorry in advance. I don't like when people that make their entire personality about being addicts or being rock stars or being like, you know, fucking getting bitches and I'm like doing coke off a stripper's ass and then but whatever the fuck he was at the beginning of his career.
I wish the world could see the visuals on this delivery. I wish you were all seeing what I'm seeing.
I hate when they're that and then they turn into like, I love mental health and like I'm clean and sober now and so I am so great. And aren't I so great because I'm clean and sober now and nothing I did before was bad and I'm so great and then this happens.
Right. And then you find out they got clean and sober because they realized they'd been raping people.
Yes.
Yeah. Good on you. Kindness is always the answer after you've committed a series of sexual offenses.
Yeah. Is anyone surprised?
No.
Like, was there an Onion article that the cookies sent me that said people confused thinking that Russell Brand was already a sex offender? Which is like hilarious and shouldn't be an Onion article because it's real.
No one is surprised. And I've hated Russell Brand for a long time because my favorite movie of all time is 1981's Arthur, starring the late Dudley Moore and the late Sir John Gielgud. And Russell Brand did a remake of this movie a couple of years ago. I did not watch it. I would not watch it. I believe it was nominated for Razzies. And Russell Brand, as a citizen of the United Kingdom, how fucking dare you redo this movie? How dare you try to duplicate or exploit the talent of Dudley Moore? You are a nugget of corn in Dudley Moore's last shit, Russell Brand.
Oh my God, slam!
Fuck you.
Slam.
I'm sad that he was violent towards women, but I'm just glad to see him be under investigation for any reason because he defiled Arthur and he dragged Helen Mirren into it to play John Gielgud's part.
Well,
Helen Mirren, of course, survived because she is impenetrable from bad reviews and nonsense.
Truly. I mean, are we surprised? No. Am I glad that this is coming out? Yes. Is it a decade too late? Yes. Because like, what career does he even have anymore? Like, what has he done in the last like 10 years? Nothing.
But these stories are coming out that all these people knew about it for years.
Well, that's
I don't know if it's
I have not dove yet that far into it.
Like BBC, like there were shows he worked on where execs talked about not having any female staff members.
Yeah.
As opposed to just not hiring Russell Brand, they were going to degender their staff.
Which is like, again, like, and that's the thing that I think people forget are like, well, how do you know any of these things are true? Or how do you know, you know what I mean? If you like the opposition of like, is he a rapist is like, if you're going to the lengths where people are not able to obtain a job because of their gender, because the work environment is so hostile that they will be attacked by the host of the show, like that's hard to maneuver around in your excuse.
And also
giving.
like insanely illegal to even have that discussion. Like, should we not hire women because the host won't stop touching them? Is like, I bet Judi Dench is available. Get her to fucking host it. What's so great about the dude? It's not, was he talented? I mean, I guess so. Not so talented that you'd need to put people at risk by hiring him for something. Good Lord.
It's crazy. But I mean, but people are eating. I mean, it's Harvey Weinstein 2.0 as far as I'm concerned.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
Because every couple of minutes, another story breaks from like another person or et cetera, et cetera. A couple of programming notes before we get to Brit Watch. I would like to apologize to the listeners who complained that somehow the strains of my voice saying, "Hey Siri," last week made your phones and car
explode.
stereos go off and start screaming as her. I don't know what it was about my voice because I've said this on the program many times.
Almost every episode.
I don't know what happened last week, but I will tell you that if I figure out how to repeat it, I'm going to. So that's that. And one more programming note. So those of you who listened to the podcast last week where we fixed Jimmy Fallon might have heard Chris having several, I guess what I would describe as mini meltdowns on the air.
I thought you were going to say tantrums.
Well, they were, thank you, actually. They were tantrums. I defer to that word. They were tantrums. And because I was saying the word literally instead of clitorally. Now, first of all, I wasn't aware I had to say it that way every single time. I mean, sometimes it has to slip through. But
Copy.
The real kicker is that if you listen back to that very podcast, Chris himself says the word literally instead of clitorally upwards of 83 times in the 1 hour and 10-minute podcast. Realistically, like 3 times. It's blatant and it's loud. And honestly, who the hell do you think you are?
I will say you had every room and right to correct me, and you did not. However, when I was editing the podcast, did I hear it multiple times and go, ooh, did I sit there and go, what do I do about this? And was I speaking way too quickly for me to edit it out myself to try to cover it up? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So do I owe everyone an apology? Not as good as Dominick's that he gave in the moment. Correct. I do. And I'm sorry. And I'll do better.
That honestly, that was it. That was the Lord speaking for me.
Yeah.
I mean, here we are about to introduce our guest, but first, Brit Watch.
Britney Watch.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
It's like she's here when I do that, isn't it? It's like she's in the room.
Yeah, you sound just like her.
I know.
Britney is allegedly dating her former housekeeper. I'm upset. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Is she in Italy? Like, I need to, where is she?
Oh, first of all,
I have not seen her getting those meatballs. I have not seen her back at home. Is she okay?
Britney Spears should not be dating her housekeeper for a couple of reasons. The power dynamic. She shouldn't even be dating a former employee, but especially one that has as much dirt on her as he must. Like if he cleaned this woman's home for, I don't even know. Do we know how long he was her housekeeper?
Unclear. All
right. It's just that in a series of bad choices, this is a winner. This is 10s across the board.
Well,
bad idea for her.
Well, he clitorally knows where her dirty laundry is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because he's cleaned it.
Yeah. I'm nervous. And so I have an idea. You're not ready for this. I'm starting a prayer chain for Britney Spears. There, I said it.
Oh my.
I'm setting an alarm on my phone for noon Eastern time every day. At noon, I'm going to give her, and listen, if you love prayer, if you don't, you are going to, at noon Eastern time, now whatever time zone you're in, adjust to that. We're going to give Britney Spears positive vibes. The cookies and I have been doing this for a couple days, and I need to bring it now to like a larger audience. I'm starting a prayer chain, noon Eastern time. You can pray. You can worship her. You can do it. Send her positive vibes. You can write her a letter. You can do whatever you need. This is what we're doing. Noon every day. She needs it desperately.
Oh, baby, baby. Do we go to church? No. Will we pray for...
You can't even say it.
Because it's so redonk. But whatever. We'll probably gain 1 million listeners for the Britney Spears prayer chain. So do it.
Tell your friends. Like, tell everyone. Tell everyone. I'm serious. Guys, I'm not joking. I'll put it on my Instagram. Like, noon every day. Noon Eastern time. Prayer chain, Britney Spears. She needs it.
Wow. We have run the gamut here. But our job is not yet done. And it is time to get to our fixie.
Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
All right, we have a fellow podcaster in our midst. Please welcome Kiki Andersen. She is a comedian and she is the host of Indecent, a podcast about peeling back the wallpaper of polite society. Kiki, thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hello.
Tell us really quickly a little bit about your podcast so people can find you and, obviously go and download it and listen.
Yeah, so like you said, we're peeling at the wallpaper of polite society, trying to figure out why people are hung up on this thing. Where does that belief system come from? We try to follow the money a little bit and try to figure out if anybody's profiting off of your outrage. And we have all kinds of guests. We have everything from psychologists to social media experts, journalists, comedians. We have everyone on. And we're not trying to solve anything. We're just, picking at it, trying to figure out what's got everybody's panties in a bunch.
We're trying to solve too much on this podcast, so I feel like this is a beautiful balance of what, I think that you'll actually really help us to kind of
so you do the adult version of you do the adult version of our podcast.
Yeah.
We're actual adult.
That's the first time people have called me an adult. So
So we are going to be talking about James Corden. I sent you the list. What drew you to James Corden?
Well, you had a great list. Some of them, I have to confess, I wasn't really sure what they did. And I wanted to come from a place of I've read about this and I've already had feelings on it, as opposed to I Googled this for the purpose of this podcast. And I don't know. I feel like James Corden has made some missteps, but he's redeemable. I'm not a James Corden hater. So I thought that would be a good place to come from.
I think he is redeemable too. He really didn't do anything that. I actually think that he didn't do anything that horrible to receive where he's just basically gone off the face of the planet now.
Yeah, well, especially right after the Lizzo controversy. I think that I don't trust anybody whose brand is positivity, first of all.
And you're correct to do so. You are so correct to do so.
You must put that on an apron or a mug. I don't trust anyone whose brand is positivity.
Yeah, it's people who use too much therapy speak, which is another conversation people are having right now. Is it's people that weaponize these terms and stuff to build this brand and cover up their bullshit. So when you see people like James Corden slip up a little bit, I'm yeah, well, we fucking knew. Right? And I knew it was too good to be true.
Right.
He kind of filled the hole that Ricky Gervais left. When Ricky Gervais was I'm done doing this, why did you hire me?
Right.
Remember, wasn't it the Oscars that he was why did you hire me? Like, I'm
Right,
so
the
over all
Globes.
this.
It was the Golden Globes.
It was the Golden
yeah.
Globes. You're right. He was like, why the fuck am I here? Like, they were like, all right, James Corden, another British person that can like go up and be fun and not, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not throwing in the towel. He's not acting like he's too good for this. Like, I feel like we really got to know him once he started hosting everything possible and being a great host.
Right.
Yeah. It's so funny because if Ricky Gervais had yelled at somebody at a restaurant, nobody would bat an eyelash.
Not even, it wouldn't, including the person being yelled at.
Right.
They would be like, Mr. Gervais, like, thank you so much. Like, well, that'll be
hit me
25.
again.
Yeah, that'll be 25.97. Thank you so much.
It's expected. Now, James was like I mean, I'm not going to do the whole background, but he was he was like a child star in England. Like, he was on some show, I think it was a sitcom maybe as a teen. And so he had been well known over there for a while. And then that Broadway show I mentioned earlier was sort of his first big thing here in the States. And he took off pretty quickly from what I remember. Like, he just became famous here really quickly, which doesn't happen to people from overseas very often that quickly, you know,
unless they're like a heartthrob,
right?
Someone who comes in to play like a leading role, which he wasn't doing. But you were, Kiki, you were saying something about British people,
right? I should say no. As far as people you don't want to fuck, he became pretty
yes,
popular
correct.
very quickly.
Correct.
And actually,
also British people like bypass that too. It's like, oh, well, he's got an accent, so he's kind of sexy in his own way.
Supposedly, yeah. And I shouldn't shame him because he actually is. He's in my wheelhouse. He's actually kind of he's kind of cute. So I don't want to, in case he's listening and there is the possibility, I don't turn down.
He's in the wheelhouse.
I mean, anybody really. I mean, why would you? Life is short.
And let's not forget that obviously carpool karaoke like changed late night forever. Like, that's when you really think about it. We would, even if you didn't watch any of the shows that he was on, you tuned into YouTube the next day to like the carpool karaoke, whoever he did with carpool karaoke, it was all over the internet for weeks.
Absolutely.
Afterwards.
No,
even
it was
now.
like a historic achievement.
Yes.
For late night. I mean, really, like, it really would, having something fresh in that space comes around not even once every year. And carpool karaoke's won its own Emmys. It's been its own show. Like, it was just the simplest idea that he definitely took into the stratosphere, and he should. That is an absolute feather for him. There's no doubt.
And he's so good in it. Like, he's singing with them. He's having fun. Like, again, if this was Jimmy Kimmel, he would be like, why the fuck am I doing this? Do you know what I mean? Like, he would be like, what?
He's incredibly talented. He was always, for years before we came to know him, he was a talented actor and, you know, appeared in musicals as well. So he can sing, which brings us to, I believe he played a gay character in The Prom, the 2020 movie, the Ryan Murphy directed film, The Prom, and was savaged for, you know, for lack of a better term, gay face, and just appearing as a gross and offensive gay stereotype in Ryan Murphy's film. I am quoting, by the way, an article from the Independent when I call him quote, gross and offensive gay stereotype.
I don't know how to feel about that one because I'm not gay, so I can't speak to that issue, but I am Jewish, and Bradley Cooper just got in trouble for, I've never even heard the term Jew face, but apparently that's what they're calling it, which sounds way more derogatory than what he did.
Yes, correct. It's not great, really, but even you saying that right now, I was like, ooh. I was like, oh.
Right? I got the word Jew face. My God.
I feel like we should bleep it.
It's just something that you know that someone has lobbed at someone else before, and it's like, you know, it stings, even though we don't. Anyway, continue.
Gay face sounds fun. Jew face sounds horrific.
That's true.
But I'm not even mad at Bradley Cooper for that one. I'm like, you know what? The one thing that I will not allow him to do again is sing. He can play a Jewish guy if he wants, but just don't sing.
Slam City.
You are correct, but slam. But I mean, it's good to know that like everyone is misrepresented in Hollywood, not just gay people or Jewish people. Do you know what I mean? It's really, but that is what kind of, I feel like, led to his downfall, of people starting to be like, hold on a second. James Corden's whole like persona is like copying off of someone who would be like a gay person that would be this host, but instead you're giving it to him. Like he's wearing the sequins. He's like dressing like a drag queen, basically.
Right.
He's like very like flamboyant, which like there are parts of me that I'm like, okay, but like what if he's just flamboyant? That doesn't mean that he's gay. Like it's like people should be allowed to be feminine and still be straight. However, there is a part of me that's like, yeah, he wears like sequin suits all the time. And it's like, just like, come on. Like, I don't know. I'm torn about it.
I was not offended by James Corden's gross and offensive gay stereotype, given that I, as a gay man, am grosser and more offensive than
I was going to say
that he put in the prom.
I was going to say
if that's gay face, what am I? Like a gay
you see yourself
bomb?
in that character. You felt represented by his character.
I did.
That's the diet version.
Yeah.
I was doing gay face. Was it Meryl Streep in that movie? Or there's just or was Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman and Andrew Rannells? Like there's a whole bunch of like, and so he's making fun of gay. No. It's just some of it I don't get. That's one of them.
Yeah.
What year was that movie made?
2020.
Okay. I mean, it is a little weird to make that mistake now. Like if that happened.
I mean, they're still doing it every day.
They're still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single isn't like what is it like? White, Red, and Royal Blue. Isn't that like a book that's now becoming like a movie that's like a Call Me by Your Name-esque?
I thought that it was a movie.
It's too straight. It's too straight. There's definitely someone who's not gay in that movie playing a gay person. Look at Love, Simon. Like the guy that plays Simon he's straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is playing the roles in Red, White, and Royal Blue?
They're too younger, like not as famous people, but I know that they're not gay.
Oh, okay. Then
right?
I mean, if they're hot, I should.
Yeah, no,
if it's like Harvey
Dominick, Dominick, we're lining up to go see it.
If it's like Harvey Keitel and Morgan Freeman, I will protest on behalf of gay people with a "How dare you!" But if they're hot, then yeah, they should. It doesn't matter if they're straight or not.
No, you could care less about if they're hot or not.
No,
it's
if
the one
if gay people are kissing on screen and they're being portrayed by people who aren't gay. Newsflash, that's even hotter. You all know it. Stop whining about it. Stop.
That's just the story of Taylor Swift. Supposedly she's gay, and that's but everybody lives for that like story,
the mystery,
right?
yes.
The mystery of it.
I'm so happy you brought that up because we haven't discussed that on the podcast yet, but I found this week this whole internet like lunatic community on the internet that call themselves gaylers, and their job is to like interpret every single thing that Taylor Swift says, does, breathes, both in and out of her artistry, where she's indicating that she is gay and telling the world that she's gay. And her tour, they have like 40 to 50 examples of Taylor telling the world that she's gay.
I love gaylers.
Yeah.
It's bizarre because why wouldn't she just?
But that's what QAnon is. What is QAnon other than them being like, oh, they said pizza in emails like 97 times. Like that means that there's like they're eating children.
This is that. I mean, people really want Taylor Swift to be gay. They desperately want it.
But no one wants James Corden to be gay. That's the problem, is that no one's being like, no one's begging him to be gay. They're like,
he keeps presenting as. Yeah. And that started, it wasn't his last scandal, because obviously the thing that ruined him, which I think is just, it's hilarious, because it's hilarious to me that if you are a celebrity, you can have not even a lapse of judgment. You can be misinterpreted for something you said or did that lasted literally less than 3 Earth seconds. And the rest of your life will be determined by, I am ever fascinated by it. And he said something off color to someone on the wait staff at Balthazar in 2022.
I can't.
And he is now known as someone who waits outside restaurants and murders waiters and waitresses when they're walking home. That is the severity of whatever the fuck he said to this person. And the owner of Balthazar put him on blast on Instagram. And it was this is what he's known for now, being mean to waiters.
What do we know what he said? Did they like reveal what he said?
Well, I'm looking at that same article. Corden was branded a tiny cretin of a man and banned from New York City restaurant Balthazar over his alleged treatment of the staff. Owner said that James Corden was, quote, the most abusive customer to my Balthazar server since the restaurant opened 25 years ago.
Oh my God. What do you
Okay,
think?
who's more dramatic in that situation, though?
No,
I don't know.
I know.
Talk about gay face. Good Lord. That is a lot.
That's so funny.
Well, he addressed the controversy. He said his statement was short, thankfully. The truth is I made a rude comment and it was wrong. It was an unnecessary comment. It was ungracious to the server. That was it. I don't know what the comment was. It was something about, I know it was something about his wife's eggs. I remember that.
What I read online was that they brought him the eggs with egg whites, and then they brought it again with like the wrong sides, and he just started shouting like, you can't even do your job. I could do your job." Which, like, he's kind of right,
That's
but
bad.
maybe that's not the right way to say it.
No, but that's bad. And also like, we're not at like Waffle House. We're not Lana Del Rey at a Waffle House during this.
Mhm.
This is like, Balthazar is like an institution of New York City. Like, you go there and it's like French, it's nice, it's like white tablecloths. Not that it's like the nicest restaurant in the whole world, but like, it's like you're getting a steak there.
It
Like, you're
definitely
getting like,
is,
it's like the whole point of it is that it's a nice fine dining restaurant in Soho, right around the corner from like all the stores. To have someone be causing a scene there would be like if I was there, I'd be like very embarrassed for them.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like he's had these outbursts a lot. So maybe that's something that he needs to like work on. Maybe he needs to go work at a Waffle House for a while and be treated like shit for a minute. I don't mean to solve the podcast. I know that's later, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I also, maybe it was a bad day. Maybe the waiter was rude. I don't know. It sounds like the guy that runs the restaurant also is a little rude. I don't know.
It sounded like he needed a little bit of attention, the guy that owns Balthazar. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no way that
Yeah.
James Corden was meaner than anyone who's ever been there for 25 years. I want the story to be misinterpreted because I like that he made a comment about his wife's eggs. And I wish someone had actually like mocked her reproductive system or something like outlandish.
So
And that
stupid.
was the idiot story that they ran with.
Yeah.
He'd look
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
hero. He'd look like a hero. He leaked, the wrong thing leaked. That was all. What was that? A waitress made fun of your wife's eggs? This is appalling. He'd still have a show. He'd still live here.
And like James Corden's getting taken down for saying like, my food is not right and sending food back. Does the punishment fit the crime?
It means we were done with him. It means we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
looking for a reason
That's
to
true.
hate him. And this was like, you said something shitty to a waiter. Look, you're not supposed to do that. I'm sure in a bad mood, anyone might have done that from time to time. But, he literally, he left the country. That was it. He said something mean to a waiter and was run out of the nation because of it. Lost a television show and was exiled to
Yeah.
Why
the
did he leave
terrorist
the late?
nation of the United Kingdom.
You're so stupid. Stop. Why did he lose the Late Show?
I think he quit.
I think it was just like done.
Yeah. Because
Oh,
he is
really?
British, and I think he was tired of living here and maybe
Yeah.
His
I don't
visa
know,
ran out.
let's make something up. He wanted to raise his children in England. I made that up. This is not a news podcast.
Well, because that's the
I
thing
can
is
make
like,
false statements.
he is someone that although he kind of had like a chokehold on like being a host forever, it then turned into like the minute this is the thing is everyone thinks they're going to get off of the thing that made them really famous and like just still survive, and you don't. Like, you just don't. There's so many of the housewives that are like, I'm just going to leave and then I'm going to like be really famous. And like a very small fraction of them have been able to do that. Like, there's so many other things where it's like you get famous for being on like The Bachelor or the whatever. And it's like unless you go on for like 4 seasons, you never become as famous as you think that you can like keep that momentum if you're just off television.
It's like when someone's on The Voice or American Idol and the week they get voted off, they always look and they say, "You haven't seen the last of me." It's like, we have actually.
It is actually.
This
or the
is-
winners. Like, if you
Yeah, the
win
winners.
The
Who's
Voice
heard
or
of them?
American, yeah, like unless you're Kelly Clarkson or what's her name,
And
Carrie
that's it.
Underwood. Like
It's
you're
just
good
Kelly
to
and yes, because everyone else, even Ruben Studdard, he's performing at Starbucks now.
How
real.
dare you act like Ruben Studdard was someone who was going to become famous after
Well, I
American
didn't.
Idol.
He was the second winner. Everyone
I
thought he'd be at least as famous as Kelly, and instead,
No.
Clay Aiken is somehow more famous than Ruben
Yeah.
Studdard.
Those are the only ones I can name. And yeah, I don't know where those two are.
I want to go into American Idol, but I know that Dominic will cut all of it out anyway, so I'm going to continue.
Why do you think that?
I just know that you will. Anyway, I was going to talk about Fantasia Barrino being in The Color Purple, the remake that I am lining up Christmas Day to go see. I cannot wait.
But it's the Lord's birthday. You have to stay home and pray all night.
No, I don't. And neither do you. Anyway.
Fantasia will do the singing for you.
Yeah, she'll pray. I'll be praising someone, and it won't be Jesus. That's so stupid.
Wait, is Jennifer Hudson also a winner from a singing show?
No, she did not win.
Well, she came in
win.
like 7th place. Yeah,
yeah,
she was not a winner.
But she's way more famous than half the other people.
She's an Oscar winner now. Yeah, she didn't need American Idol. Justin Guarini is the president of Spain.
How dare you? Justin Guarini. I mean, what do we do about James Corden? That's the thing. It sucks because he is funny. Like when he did the Friends reunion, he was the host. And I was like, there's no better person to ask them these questions than James Corden. Like I really felt secure with him. Like I felt like I'm a huge Friends fan. So I was very excited for the reunion. And that was like, I don't know. It was just like, oh, this is of course who would be doing this and asking them all these questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sort of like a sassier Ryan Seacrest. Like
yeah,
there was a moment when you could have put him everywhere.
He is a sassier Ryan Seacrest.
He's a gay-faced Ryan Seacrest.
That is a joke. Wow, what a...
It's true.
That's so meta joke that I don't even know what to say to that.
I love a callback. I love a callback. But honestly, when I think about fixing him, I almost just want to give him money because he's already appeared in Cats. So what more punishment could possibly be levied at him?
He does. That's what I will say too, is like he has had a few
wonders.
A few casting choices that weren't great. Like Cats was like panned by every person that saw it. Like it was
everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even Taylor Swift was in that and it still tanked. Like no one went to see it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I saw Cats on Broadway as a child and thought it was terrible.
And you were like, what the fuck is this musical?
You were right. You were right.
There was already nothing to work with there. And then they made it like pervy. I don't know.
Who's on the Late Late Show now? Does it even exist?
I don't think so. I don't think they replaced him.
No, Judi Dench is hosting it.
Stop.
Really?
It's an only British. They only hire a British person now to do it.
That's his. Oh, and it was Craig Ferguson's first.
Right. And before that, it was...
That's what I forget
what's
about.
His name? Craig Kilborn before Craig Ferguson.
It was Craig Ferguson for a long time.
Yeah.
And no one watched it. And I remember one of my friends was like, he's so funny and no one even cares.
Yeah, whenever I did catch it, it was very funny. The Craig Ferguson one. And James Corden was funny also. Their bits were always very funny. Funnier than... I felt like the level of comedy on the Late Late Show was sort of what the Tonight Show was going for, but they missed the mark a little bit. Like there was still something like tongue-in-cheek and cerebral about the comedy on James Corden. I mean, which included things like eating bull balls, like stuff like that. But it was still very funny to me when I would watch it.
Because I think James Corden made them like accessible. Like he made celebrities feel like regular people as opposed to like some cool club where none of us get to be privy to. Here's the celebrity dressed down in a car, like ordering McDonald's or whatever.
And this is it. And now his whole career gone because he spoke to a waiter the wrong way. Just had a momentary lapse of judgment and revealed his personality.
Well, you know what I will say, though? He did, go out on it. Like, he saw the tide turning and was like, all right, I'm out of here. Which, never happens. Never.
One way.
Like, he saw, it was going south, and he was like, let me go back to London and just, be out of here.
I mean, what more could he do here anyway? Yeah, what more could he do? or are we about to suggest what more
I
we
think
can do?
we are about to suggest what more
I
we
think,
can
it's
do.
time, I think it's time for the pitches.
Okay. Kiki, this is the part of the podcast where we do our pitches. And then you can, once we are done pitching, you may ask questions. You may give comments, feedback, whatever you want. And then you decide who is the winner of this episode.
I can't wait.
James Corden. James Corden did a great thing with carpool karaoke. Dominic knows that I'm already going here. It's the best thing that he's done. It's the funniest thing that he's done. It's easily marketable and still funny. And like, it's a part of his career that he can continue to ride on without having to like be a host again. What James Corden is going to do is do a, much like Madden with football games, James Corden is going to do a carpool karaoke video game. Now, could this be VR? Maybe. Where you feel that you're in the car with the celebrity and you are James Corden? Sure. Does everyone have VR? No. Minimum like a PS5 or like a Nintendo Switch. But I used to have like all these like Glee karaoke games for like the Nintendo Wii and like Rock Band and all these like fun games where you would like sing karaoke in a video game. That is what James Corden is taking over that market and is going to be like the carpool karaoke video game. He spends one day shooting like, hey everyone, it's my game, carpool karaoke, blah, blah, blah. And like, there's all these songs from like the iconic versions of all of the like Adele, Katy Perry, Celine Dion. We had Ariana Grande. Like we've had everyone. Like the whole catalog is available to us. And you are in the car with this celebrity and you're singing along with the songs. You can customize different rides of like, here are the different songs we're going to sing in a row. And you can upload it to Instagram afterwards. Like all this can get recorded and put on social media since like, if you can't have a part of the game go to social media, why even have it anymore? And his career is going to be like silently put back to where it was because people are going to be like, oh yeah, he is extremely talented and got these celebrities to do insane, crazy things. And it was like really funny. Like, remember when he was giving away like Celine Dion's shoes? Like he would just pull over. When he did Celine Dion, he literally pulled over to the side of the thing and was like, do you want these shoes? They're from Celine Dion. And Celine was like, no. Funny. And like, he just threw them out the thing. Like, that's fucking hilarious. That is what he's going to do. He's going to become a video game empire, like mogul. And we're slowly, like the reason that anyone even listened to anything John Madden said for the last, like how many years of his life, is he even still alive? Is because he had the best football video game for the entire time that I've been alive.
That's
Do you know what I mean?
That's how I knew who he was.
Yeah, same.
And I'm an adult.
And now James Corden is going to do the same with karaoke. And that is my pitch.
Wow.
It's a good one.
James Corden, I don't know that this is a genius idea, but I feel like it is the only idea for you.
Oh, God.
You've conquered Broadway. You've been in film. You had a late night television show. I mean, you can sing, you can act. We get it. So the problem is that you're just not famous in a positive light anymore. That's what we're here to fix. I don't know. You could teach a school with all the talents you have. It's insane. Where else does a scandal-plagued person like you go? You're going to open a fucking restaurant,
Stop.
James Corden.
Stop.
You're going to open a restaurant that's only open for breakfast and only serves eggs.
You're a monster.
Maybe you're just a brunch restaurant. Maybe you're every day. Maybe it's just Sunday brunch. Maybe you're a pop-up event restaurant, but it's got to be dinner theater as well. If we have drag brunch, we can have James Corden egg breakfast, because these will be breakfast theater. And you will be one of the performers occasionally. It'll be like a real treat when you're actually there. Like, ooh, is Barbara Walters on The View today? Like one of those things. And that's it. I will leave it to the listeners to come up with a name for this restaurant, because I didn't think of this idea until we were
already
talking
doing it.
about Balthazar, yeah, until 30 seconds before it came out of my mouth. And that's my pitch. He's just going to, as part apology, part moneymaker, part his name is back in the press again. And that's the goal.
Okay, so this is a little hard for me because I love both ideas. Okay, because I do think it's really funny.
It's often a Sophie's choice around.
Yes, correct.
Ooh, this is hard because it would be really funny. You know, he did yell at the waiter, "I can do your job better." So if he works at the restaurant sometimes and proves that he actually can do the job better, then I don't know, he's just like validating his own mean comments. But I do like the video game idea, especially if you can get into the video game and your goal is like to try to do the things that James Corden does. Like, can you get Celine Dion to take off her shoes? And like, that's how you win or lose. And you realize how hard his job is. And you're like, okay, well, his job's very stressful. He has to like force people to take off their shoes. Like maybe he was just having a bad day. So for that reason, for the empathy side of it, I'm going to choose the video game, but they're both great ideas.
Oh, congratulations, Chris. It's been a few weeks since
Kiki,
you've claimed the
I've
victory.
needed this desperately. Dominic has been mopping the floor with me in the last like 6 episodes. So thank you so much for this. I needed this point. Like truly.
It's a great idea. I want to add something to this idea if I may. And don't do this half point bullshit.
I won't.
But I think that this video game should be played in cars. Like I think that this should be a hologram. It should be a hologram game that comes as part of a premium package with the vehicle. You're driving, but you're playing carpool karaoke with James Corden in the car with you singing. And you just have to sing along with the hologram of James Corden that's in the passenger seat.
Now, Dominic,
I love that.
Do you remember whenever I pitched my idea about Lana Del Rey and you said this will result in the loss of many like casualties? that is what you have just said to me like right now. Okay.
I think not only do I think it should be a hologram of James Corden, but I think when you're playing the game, if you're driving alone, you should still legally qualify to be in the HOV lane with
because you have 2 people in your seat.
I love that. That's honestly for the betterment of society at this point. It's the green option.
Stimulating the economy. What better comeback is that than stimulating the economy?
Dear God in heaven.
You're a genius, Chris.
Oh my God, I needed this so badly. Kiki, thank you so much.
Yes, and combine it with Grand Theft Auto. You have to like pick up.
Oh my God! Like run people over. Yeah,
like that's how you get Celine shoes. You have to murder her.
Yeah, like throw a Molotov cocktail at a helicopter. Like all of it. Yeah. Same. Say apples and apples, right? Oh God! All right. Well, another episode in the books. Kiki, thank you.
You're welcome, James Corden. You're welcome.
Oh my God, Dominic! Wait, you never said what his middle name is.
And it's a doozy. It's a doozy. James Corden's middle name is Kimberly.
No.
Yep. James.
Okay, he deserves to be canceled.
Kimberly Corden.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Dominic, I would have changed my whole pitch.
What would you have done?
He would have become like the Pink Power Ranger. Like there was something there. Like there was
all of a sudden now
with.
It's okay that he does gay face because his middle
name is Kimberly.
Is the
That's horrible.
Name.
That's horrible. Wow. All right. Well, moving right past that. Kiki, thank you so much for being with us. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on all the socials. On Instagram, it's Kiki Andersen. The podcast is Indecent Kiki, and we stream everywhere you get your podcasts. You guys, this was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We had fun with you. Thank you for coming.
Kiki, before I ask Dominic where people can find him, please tell everyone, or we can cut this out if you don't want to say it, but tell Dominic why you changed your name to Kiki.
Well, so Kiki was my nickname growing up, but when I was doing the news, because I used to be a news reporter before I did comedy, people were confusing me on Twitter for Kellyanne Conway. So I was getting all of her hate tweets.
Oh my God.
Which, like, why would that happen? Like, you look nothing like her, thankfully. Like,
thankfully, just
you
once.
Don't even have the same name. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense.
It was amazing because it was like my Twitter handle was Kelly A Media and her Twitter handle was Kelly Ann Poles. So it would auto-populate my name for a really long time. And I would just get all of her hate tweets, which I was personally delighted by. But the other news reporters in my newsroom were horrified. They were like, this is bad for your brand. I'm like, yeah, but it's funny to me.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care about that. You're like, brand schmand. Yeah, I just knew that nugget about you, and I needed Dominick to watch Dominick.
Fantastic. That is fantastic.
Go listen to Indecent. She's doing the Lord's work over there, actually. Dominick, where can people find you?
My website is domintary.com, and my socials are at Dominick Pupa. Chris, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. Write a review and let us know who you want us to fix next. I wish you both well, and as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.